Okay, so once you've got your ideas, it's time to start to write your article. Now, what we're going to talk about first of all is we're going to talk about outlining your article in this video. Then we're going to talk about dictating it. Now, depending upon how you work and your typing speed, you may decide you don't want to dictate it. You may want to just type it. It's up to you. You may not have the money to pay a transcriptionist to transcribe it for you, or whatever. So it's up to you how you do it, but what I'm doing is I'm going to show you how we outline it. So now we've written our article, what we do is under each title we write an introduction and some points. Now the points are the points that you're going to cover in the article. What a lot of people do is they write the points first and then the introduction. So basically what you do is the introduction is a paragraph where you're telling them what you've told them. Basically, you're going to tell them what you're going to tell them. So you're telling them about the article, introducing them to the subject, maybe something like that. No more than about a paragraph. That's all you really need. Once you've done that, you can move on to your main points. Now your main points would be, depending on how long you want your article to be, is how many main points you have. So 3 main points will give you roughly 300 words by the time you've finished. 5 points will give you about 500 words. I tend to always aim for 500 words. It's a good sort of number to aim for. The article directories appreciate it. They don't like too short articles. If you write your articles that are 300, 250, 300 words long, article directories really don't seem to like those anymore. I like to get at least 450 words, particularly with, say, somewhere like Easy Articles. You can use longer anchor text if you do so. So 5 points. By the time you've added introduction and summary, these are going to make about 500 words. So if you fall a bit short, you're still above the 450. So what these points are, these are the main points you want to cover in your article. So they have to flow in a logical order. So, it's no good starting with, something that's quite advanced and then going back to something basic. You want to start with the basics and work your way through. And all you're doing at this stage is just writing the points out. What some people do that sometimes helps is they'll write in some sub-points. This is particularly useful if you don't know a lot about the niche. You may want to just put some sub-points in there when you find some useful information. All these are just sort of your cliff notes, if you like. They're sort of notes for you for when you actually come to doing the article in a little while. Once you've done, written out the 5 points that you want to cover, we go down to a summary. The summary, again, is just telling people what you've told them. It's no call to action or anything like that. And then finally, separately, is the resource box. Depending upon where you're submitting your article, this could be anything up to several hundred words. So you've got to make sure you're aware of where you're submitting it. You may write a couple, one for easy articles, one for the other ones. So for something like this subject here, this is our article. How can you really use a dog collar to stop your dog barking needlessly? I'd obviously would have the introduction. For me, I'm going to put in what dog collars are and why they are used. So that's what I'm going to cover in the introduction. My first point, I want to talk about different types of dog collars. So I'm going to talk about those first of all, what the different types are and so on. So that'll be a paragraph or 2. Once I've talked about that, I'm going to put how to use the dog collars. So that's going to be the next paragraph. Then after I've done that, I want to spend a little while perhaps talking about are they effective? And this may well be the effectiveness of each different type of collar. Something like that. Now, with this particular article, these 2 points are probably going to cover most of the article, to be perfectly honest. They're going to be sort of points 3, 4 and 5, because obviously there's about 3 or 4 different types of dog collar, so they are going to I'm going to talk about each type of dog collar, how effective they are they cruel, are they nice, and so on. Then I want my summary, where basically, obviously I'm selling dog collars, so my summary is of course they're good. I may even say that one type is better than the other, if that's the type I'm promoting. And then my resource box, and what I'm going to put here is the keywords that I'm targeting, so keyword 1 and keyword 2, those are the keywords I'm targeting. And basically this is all you do. You just go through your 10 articles and you do this. You write the title, we've obviously got the title from our last video, and you go through and outline them with these points. Once you've got these points together, then we can either start writing them or dictating them, and we'll cover that in the next video. But for now, get your 10 articles, you've got your 10 titles already, okay, from the previous video. Get your 10 articles outlined and ready to go, and then we'll move on into the next video and talk about dictating them.